A lot of people have been asking us what bike rack fits my car. If you are not a newbie around here, you already know the drill. We always stress the three major car rack frames. These frames are named after the position they are situated in. We have roof racks, hitch racks, and the trunk rack frames. Roof racks are mounted on the roof of the vehicle. Aside from the bike accessories, various cargos use this option. For example, you may never have seen a ladder rack that isn't roof rack inclined. Roof racks are practically the most common rack options available. Outside roof racks, we have two other alternatives for mounting a bike. There is the hitch rack and the trunk rack. The hitch rack leverages on the hitch receiver of the car. That part of the car is also known as the towbar receiver. Therefore, the hitch rack is also known as the towbar rack. This rack frame is mounted on the hitch receiver, which we like to think is formidable enough. The trunk rack is what the name says it is. It is best explained as a bike rack mounted on the trunk of the vehicle. Unlike roof racks, this rack isn't much of an option for cargos other than bikes. We like to think the position of this rack is very delicate and should not be pushed beyond the limits. So, what bike rack fits my car best? Roof racks, hitch racks, and trunk racks do not share the same features. That's what makes them peculiar in their various ways. As explained earlier, they occupy different positions in the vehicle, giving them varying degrees of advantage and disadvantage as well. At this point, let's address some of the peculiarities of these rack frames. This is key to making the right rack frame choice as well as that of the brand. 1. Bike's roof rack. First, let's go over why that roof rack may be a great decision for you. One of the high points of this frame is its position. It is situated on the rooftop of the vehicle. How does this help in any way? As a driver, this implies that your back view is not hampered by your bike. If your car does not have features that help you see the rear view without looking back, other rack frames may not go well. Roof racks are the only option that's got your back in that regard. When in motion, you want to look at the rear mirror and other parts of the vehicle without obstruction. Well, roof racks can grant you that wish. With this rack system for conveying your bike, your view of any part of the road isn't obstructed. Even outside of the bike, this is the most common sort of rack option available. We like to think this is down to the unhindered vision it affords while driving. Ladder racks, kayak racks, canoe racks, among others use this feature very well. Aside from the bike, you would hardly find any sort of cargo on a rack outside the roof. The ability of the roof to hold an enormous amount of weight, and still give an unhindered view, is a key factor. Also, the versatility of roof racks makes them a great alternative. There are various kinds of car roof structures. Because of the varying roof structures, roof racks come with mounts that fit into the structure of the roof. So, when purchasing that roof rack, you should look out for one that aligns with the roof of your vehicle. The mounts used on these varying structures take the differences into consideration. We have stressed the advantages of roof racks. In the same vein, let us shed light on the not-so-good part of this rack frame. Truly, roof racks don't get in the way of the driver's vision. However, the height it adds can constitute a problem for any car owner. Other than large trucks, vehicles are designed not to exceed their height, for some reason. Installation and full use of roof racks can go against this purpose. Most roof racks have their bikes standing upright while in use. This is high, adding an extra number of inches to the car's height. Driving through areas with low-hanging tree branches, as well as tunnels meant to keep out high vehicles, isn't a fun experience. While it does not obstruct your view, your mobility may be hampered. Using a roof rack means you'll have to lift your bike onto the vehicle's rooftop. We have some questions in that regard. Are you strong enough for this? Do you have the required help if necessary? Are you aware this calls for top-notch caution? In this regard, using roof racks is more difficult than the other alternatives. Also, some cars are slightly taller than the average adult. The SUV falls well into this category. For such vehicles, you would need the services of a step ladder if you must use this option. Well, that's added expense and protocol. Let us just be practical here. We once heard of a terrible experience. The user fell backward with the bike hitting his face. For a bicycle roof rack user, you should use a helmet while mounting the bike to this rack frame. Lastly, we like to think that the sight of an upstanding bike on this option gets unwarranted attention. Sometimes, this is for the wrong reason. The position of the bike can seem lousy for some. 2. Bike hitch rack. Although there are disadvantages to this option, we think it is best at carrying a bike. The ease this system affords outweighs the earlier explained roof rack by a margin. With the hitch rack, you do not have to lift the bike over your head. This reduces the stress and chances of injuries that may occur when lifting. This rack is well within your reach. Also, the hitch receiver of the car is strong enough to hold the bike rack. Because not everyone is frequently given to biking, there may need to detach and pack the bike rack. Compared to roof racks, the hitch is easier to detach. With the right tools, the hitch rack can be detached. The position of the rack also makes this process easy. Unlike roof racks, installation and mounting of the bike are well within your reach. Let's identify some disadvantages associated with the hitch rack. First, not every car has a hitch or towbar receiver. This makes it disadvantaged compared to the roof and trunk rack. This is because every car has a trunk and a roof. These are basics that cannot be altered. However, the same cannot be said for the hitch receiver. Considering that no hitch rack can exist without a hitch receiver, some users install an artificial towbar for this purpose. However, the strength and length of these post-factory installation may be questionable. Also, unlike roof racks, the back view is obstructed. If you need your back view free and uninterrupted, the hitch rack with bikes mounted may not be ideal. When driving backward, you must take account of the clumsy nature of the bike on a hitch rack. Unfortunately, this also increases the length of your car. As a result, caution is of the essence while reversing and driving with a fully used hitch rack. 3. Trunk rack. In clear terms, we consider the trunk rack best alternative for people who would seldom use it. This is because such people need a bike rack that is very easy to detach. Well, that is one feature the trunk rack offers you. Compared to other options that require a couple of complicated instruments, detaching is very easy. All that's required is that you just undo the various straps and hooks that hold the rack to the car trunk. As with the other rack options, the trunk rack has some disadvantages. Firstly, your bike is as secure as what secures it. Because the trunk rack isn't well secured to the car, both the bike and rack can be stolen. In other words, the bike and the entire rack is vulnerable to theft. Secondly, the trunk rack can be a hindrance to the driver's rear view. Drivers who need to reverse without digital aid will have a hard time with this installation. This is because it clouds the vehicle's back, which is meant to be clear. This makes the driver unable to see properly. Next is the security of the rack. The safety of the bike is largely dependent on just straps and hooks. With the trunk rack, securing the bike means you should tighten the straps very well. These straps are held onto the car trunk with hooks. Although this shouldn't be a problem if done appropriately, we think this is the least secure rack option. We should also add that some exceptional trunk rack brands take care of these flaws in various ways. Finally, the trunk rack can leave unwanted marks on your car's topcoat. The tight metallic hooks will likely leave scratches and marks on the car's paint. This is a major concern for many users as these are not just orange peel scratches. To correct this, you may need to wet sand the altered parts from time to time. To prevent this, you may also use scratch protectors as some brands do. The scratch protector is used in between the hook and the car's surface. The scratch protection material rubs off over time. This is because of the friction between the hook and the car's surface. As a result, you should be on the lookout and consider changing it when needed. Putting aside these disadvantages, the trunk rack is also a great option. This is particularly for seldom users of the rack. This is considering how they need something they can easily detach and attach. In this video, we have discussed the peculiarities, advantages, and disadvantages of each bike rack. We highly recommend that you give this video a second thought before making the bike rack choice. Your choice of a rack frame should fit into your purpose and convenience. Thanks for watching this video. We would like to hear from you in the comment section. If you've enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you'll know once we post a new video. Finally, don't forget to check the description below for more details and visit our site www.zimcarcarriers.com for more awesome car carrier content like this.